The most reliable machine in the history of a spaceflight just got pulled off the job that made it famous, by the people who built it, on purpose, while it was still winning. The forge is hot, Warband. Let's get to work. It is Wednesday, the 26th of August, 2026. Start with the anchor. As of just after 5 o'clock this morning, Eastern, Bitcoin trades at 78,800, down about 1.2% on the day. Yesterday, it printed above 81,000, the first time it has traded through 80,000 since May, and it was turned back at its 50-week average. So, what you are looking at this morning is not a break. It is a rally meeting, the first serious ceiling above it. Underneath that, the flows have not blinked. American spot Bitcoin funds took in money, 7 sessions running through yesterday, $1.92 billion on the week, the strongest week since October. Assets inside those funds went from just under $79 billion to roughly $98.5 billion in 7 days. Hard money trends green. Gold, the long bond and Bitcoin are the 3 bullish anchors on our board this morning. The broad market and the Nasdaq are both marked down. Now the alert tape. Watch the clock on this one, because the timing is the whole story. At 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, Eastern, at the closing bell, Tesla and Freeport printed mean reversion overbought. Vertiv and Coherent printed mean reversion oversold. Then inside the next 60 seconds, Texas Instruments, Astera Labs and ARM all printed mean reversion oversold, and the lithography maker ASML saw its optimized trend roll bearish beside them. Count those. 6 names that make, test, connect or cool artificial intelligence hardware, everyone marked stretched to the downside or trending down inside 90 seconds on the eve of the most consequential print in the trade. Because Nvidia reports tonight after the close, the street wants $92.2 billion in revenue, up roughly 97% on the year, against the company's own guidance of $91 billion. Guidance that assumes exactly 0 data center chip revenue out of China. Behind that number sits a combined $2.3 trillion of capital spending and chip backlog at the 4 largest American cloud buyers. After hours, the tape split again. Advanced Micro Devices turned green on optimized trend. Palantir turned red. Coinbase printed a confluence sell. So our engine walked into tonight's print with the picks and shovels marked oversold and the speculative end marked overbought. Read that as tension, not as a forecast. Now to the thing that actually happened this week. It happened in the sky. On Monday, SpaceX flew a Falcon 9 booster out of Cape Canaveral for the 37th time. 37 flights on one airframe. It put 29 satellites in orbit and came home to a drone ship. Then the company's launch vice president said something that matters more than the record. That may be the last Falcon 9 Starlink launch out of Florida for a while, because Starlink deployment is moving to Starship. Sit with the shape of that decision. You have built the most reliable orbital rocket ever flown and driven the price of a launch down by an order of magnitude. No competitor is pushing you. No regulator is pushing you. Nothing has failed. And you take your best machine off your highest volume route anyway, because you have decided the next machine has to carry it. And the only way to find out is to hand it the work. Here is the honest other half. Starship's next flight has already slipped out of August into a September window. And 6 days ago, Musk walked back the plan to catch the ship with the tower on that flight. His words, probably a few months, not this one. That is intent, not a locked date. So, the handoff is real and the schedule is soft, both at once. That is what a genuine technology transition looks like from the inside. It never looks clean. Our own board took a side yesterday. At 1:30 Eastern, our optimized trend model flipped bullish on SpaceX. Green in the same week the operational plan slipped. Understand what that is pricing. Reusability turned launch from scarce to abundant, and the whole reward for that abundance went to the one company that owns it outright. Scarcity is not the only thing that pays. Monopolized abundance pays too, right up until somebody else can do it. Which brings me to a company doing the same thing on the ground and getting punished for it. On Saturday, I told you Nevada raised Tesla's robotaxi cap from 10 vehicles to 5,000 with a single signature. Here is the part nobody chased. Tesla's own chief engineer has said the company would be satisfied reaching 2,500 deployed vehicles in year one, half the ceiling the regulator just handed them. So how many robotaxis are actually turning wheels in Austin this morning? Tesla has not disclosed it. No filing, no press release. And I am not going to hand you a number nobody can source. What we can source is direction, and the direction is deliberate restraint. A JP Morgan analyst who toured Fremont came back reporting the company is holding back further Model Y additions to the fleet in order to prioritize Cybercab, the two-seater with no steering wheel and no pedals, which gets its Austin launch event on the 3rd of September. That is analyst work of a planned visit, not company disclosure, and it reached us with no date stamped on it, weighted accordingly. But that is not a ceiling. That is a throttle, and there is a hand on it. Hold it against the most aggressive public model on the street. Cathie Wood's 2029 Tesla target is $2,600 a share, and 88% of that value is modeled on robotaxi, a business she herself concedes will not scale meaningfully before 2027. Her forecast, not a fact. Bull case and bear case are staring at the very same undisclosed fleet and reading opposite futures out of it. Permission stopped being the constraint the day Nevada signed. The factory is the constraint now. One more on the coin, and it is the honest counterweight. InvestAnswers went into this week's move, calling the run from the low 60s to 80,000 largely a short covering event, and framed what they call the 40,000 trap, the reflex that keeps traders braced for a crash back to 40 while price walks away from them. Their own marker, short-term holder supply in profit, has reached 75%, a level they have historically flagged as euphoria adjacent. Their read, handed to you as theirs. The chain says it cuts both ways. While the funds bought 7 days straight, one whale distributed 7,700 coins into the strength, and a wallet that had not moved in 4 years woke up and sold. All hands sold to the wrapper this week. So here is your frame for Wednesday, Warband. Watch what these companies are choosing to stop doing. SpaceX is taking its best rocket ever built off its best route. Tesla is throttling its robotaxi build-out on purpose to clear the floor for a car that has not launched yet. On a screen, both look like weakness. On a factory floor, both read as conviction. Then look at what reports tonight. NVIDIA's number tells you whether anyone in artificial intelligence is throttling anything at all, or whether $2.3 trillion of backlog is still being ordered by people who have never once considered stopping. Restraint at the height of your powers is a decision. Spending at the height of a cycle is a habit. Learn to tell them apart, and you will read this whole build-out correctly. 21 million was never asked to choose. It has no route to abandon and no fleet to hold back. This is Warband as a service, Viking intelligence delivered in real time. I am Ragnar, the HODLBARBARIan. Read the runes before the crowd does. Skål!